everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Heck Creative. Today we're going to go over the two Brick Built Toa Mata Kaita Akamai and Wairuha from LEGO. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Now let's get to it. The Toa Kaita Akamai wears the Kanohi of Valor. Now breaking this down in English, this is a Toa Kaita. Kaita meaning combiner of three different Toa, Tahu, Onua, and Pohatu. Kanohi means mask. And Valor in this case means that the user has the power of three different Toa: shielding, speed, and strength. This is Tahu's mask basically, the Kanohi Hau, mask of shielding, and with Onua's eyes on the back. Very interesting. I had to do a really interesting neck kind of thing over here where I combine a couple joints together, and he has some nice range as well, looking really awesome with this head. I do wish it was gold, but alas. Going down to the chest area of the body, I really wanted to keep accurate with the model that was given by LEGO back in 2001 for this combiner, and I really feel like I did a pretty good job with what I had. I wanted to fill in this gap in the chest with some of the claws that would usually go out, but they're going in this case. I kind of intertwined them to make them a little more cohesive. Where both bodies are basically the same exact bodies. I didn't really change anything except for the ball I used here for the neck. I took from down here and gave this gray piece instead. I used every single piece with this model from each figure, so I just stuck these in the back, but they do help kind of stabilize this and stabilize the body, holding the gears together as well as holding this body together so it doesn't really tip forward or back all that much. Akamai wields a fire sword. Now this arm was really fun to build. I just used the shoulder attachments from Tahu and Onua in a way, as well as Pohatu to make the upper arm, and the lower arm is mostly Tahu's with a couple additions here and there. The neck ball for Onua, as well as the fire sword from Tahu, and his arm mostly, and I tried to keep that really cool spike theming going down over here. It looks really great how I combine all this together. It's really fun to make. You can move Akamai's arm this far up all the way, basically all the way around with that ball joint over here with some nice side to side motion. You can move it up this far with this joint over here, kind of. It works pretty well. And then this can go only up so far before hitting into this and down very nicely. The other arm is a large club made from the heads of the other Toa. I gave them sort of a finger-like movement. You can move it around a little bit. I do this kind of like headlight looking thing with Tahu and Pohatu's heads, at least. For the back portion, it's the same exact kind of thing over here, but mirrored a little bit. And this is like the weirdest arm I've ever made in my entire life, bionicle or otherwise, with a lot of these little pin pieces coming off to add a little more flair and greebles and whatnot. I just think it's freakishly long for an arm, though. Yeah, it's strange. The other arm is basically the same thing, but a little bit better. You get that nice swivel, and then up and down all the way around, however you want it, and then up and down over here as well, and then up this far, and then down for the club arm. For the lower body, it was really fun connecting these pieces all the way down the legs. It was really tricky to do, but these little hinged pieces are amazing. They kind of saved my life. Going to the back construction, I really had to make things work this way with Onua's arm pieces over here. It's really strange, and getting these pieces to work was really nice and fun to do. It does set the body slightly back from the lower torso, but that's fine, I guess. I also put some Pohatu pieces over here, and getting this to just work is nothing short of a miracle. Also, for torso articulation, you kind of get a twist a little bit, but not too much. These will hinder you a lot. These sort of mask areas down here. You can go back kind of and forward kind of, but just don't mess with these masks too much because they already are kind of falling apart a little bit, sadly. Keeping in line with the original model was my main focus for this, and I feel like I did a good job and gave it justice. It looks very nice as well. We have the Onua pieces going up over here as well as over here and coming down to Tahu's legs as well as Pohatu's legs. I couldn't get these in the middle because I didn't really want to mess the model up that much, so I kind of went halfway and just made this. I hope it looks fine. From the side, the legs look kind of underdeveloped and very thin, so you want to pose from the front or the back. And speaking of the back, it looks very nice as far as this is concerned. I really love the connection over here. I'm very glad to use this piece that came from Pohatu. It's wonderful. I wanted to go from Pohatu over to Tahu, looking very nice, keeping that tan over here. And these pieces from Onua were very helpful as well for the back of his feet, keeping this whole piece in line and together. It's a very tricky tightrope to walk for this, but it's very well worth it, and the stability is pretty good for these legs, at least, hopefully. Movement on the legs is basically non-existent. You can move it up a little bit, like this much, before this kicks in and doesn't really want to move at all, and back kind of a little bit. It's basically just a good standing pose and not really that much else, sadly. But happily, we're going to go over the next Toa Kaita Wairuha right after this. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. Toa Kaita Wairuha wears the Kanohi of Wisdom. Now this basically means that Lewa, Gali, and Kopaka are combined into another Kaita combiner character, wearing the Mask of Wisdom, giving this character the power of levitation, water breathing, and x-ray vision. I think Akamai won. Also in the neck department. This is the weirdest neck I've ever made in my entire life, I gotta say. This is very strange. I didn't mean for this. I had all these parts left over. I just used it. I go up and then down with the head. It's kind of weird. You can also go side to side a little bit. It's very funky. A really weird connection, but I made it work, and this is how it's going to stay, everybody. From the head down, it's basically the same with a couple minor alterations here and there, in colors at least. I did use Gali's body sort of wholesale here, even though you move this part over here to connect these together, but I used the stomach pieces over here to connect them like so. It works much better like that. The hooks look fine actually, and really help fill in that gap on the bottom at least, and it's funny because its counterpart fills in the top gap, which is pretty nice and really fun. I like how this looks. It's basically similar to the previous combiner, so let's move on to the back. This is where I basically stored all the extra pieces I didn't really need or use. Yes, this is randomly here, and that piece below there is randomly there, as well as this piece over here, and these parts and these weird little fingers I gave to Lewa. Yeah, it's kind of a mess, but I made it work in a way. It looked kind of feasible. I also added these little fins to the sides that look kind of nice, and I like them how they look there. But yeah, this back is totally a train wreck. The arm is basically the same as the previous, yet I find that I like this a little bit better. It's slightly cooler, I think, to have two weapons meshed together than one fire sword. I actually realized this before doing this review, that it was made like this. I had it like this going down over here, and I was wrong, so I changed it and made it look much better. I even put this piece right here for a little more flair and nicety, but yeah, I really like how I made this work, especially this piece for Lewa over here. And the colors are much brighter and better as well. Same articulation, by the way, all throughout at least. I kind of kept the combiners the same kind of thing. This shield arm for Wairuha looks really cool. I added a little bit of flair to the shield itself, looking spiky and pretty neat. You can rotate it, interestingly enough, and the arm does move the same kind of way. Maybe even a little bit better articulation here and there. You can actually tuck the shield in very nicely right there. On the inside, there is some parts keepage storage over here. I kept over here, as well as I put the eye stock pieces over here as well as over here, giving a little more flair and life. Yeah, this is really nice. Good colors. The midsection is functionally the same as the previous, yet there's a weird little clip up here, and it's just kind of weird. And the masks are over here, and I still think this face is pretty big, I gotta say. I like the blue on here, though, looking really good. That's an awesome piece right there. These fins are great, too. I just really like how this looks. It's really neat. The back, again, is more storage, but I'm just really proud to make this work over here with these pieces. I'm just happy it works. And the legs are basically the same. However, I did change a few things as far as the top portion goes. There is a little sort of fin piece going up a little bit over here on this side. The legs are basically the same. However, I did change one thing or so. There's a fin piece that goes up, slopes up over here instead of a 3-plate, so that's pretty nice, and it works well with this too. It's fine, I would guess, and I do like the white on the back too. It shines pretty well, and these pieces, however, are still here. I love how that looks, and they're really wonderful, and the color scheme of this model is just amazing. Again, the courtesy side shot for those of you who want to build this. I do like the white over here. It looks very nice. I'm just happy with how this build went. For articulation, there isn't really much that is changed from the previous model. I just have to say that the legs keep moving out, and you have to keep moving them in by just twisting it a little bit in more, so it makes a functional foot instead of a 2-foot kind of thing. But yeah, it's just mostly for show instead of for movement. The arms are fine, but the legs are just a nightmare. And here are the two Toa Kaita standing side by side. We have Wairuha on the left and Akamai on the right. We have wisdom and valor right over here, which reminds me of a great quote from BIONICLE. When wisdom and valor fail, all that remains is faith, and it can overcome all. And that is a truth that I really love and live by. For a height comparison, Wairuha stands at about 8 inches tall or so, and Akamai stands at about 8 inches tall as well. They look amazing together, and I'm super happy to have built these and actually thought out how to make them. They're wonderful. And here are Matoran Jala and Takua together with the Toa Kaita, and they just look really nice together. It's amazing to see these giants next to these small Matoran. It really puts in perspective how truly larger than life the Toa Kaita are. And here are Jala and Akamai's mask swap if you want that Motunui online game flavor. It looks really nice actually on Akamai. I wish the Rua was a silver color so we could have that, but alas, it's not. Hey, not everything's gold. Overall, unity. One of the best parts about Bionicle was taking a pre-existing set and combining it with a different one to see the results. You can make anything, an animal, a hero, a villain, something else than what was required by LEGO, and that was the best part about it, unlimited imagination. In this case, I did take a pre-existing idea but put a new spin on it. I really love how these Kaita look, and they're wonderful. Wairuha holds up, I think, better in the color department and stability department than Akamai, but I do find that Akamai just looks cooler by virtue of being these colors. The darker, more villain-coded colors of red and black as well as brown led me to believe that this character was a villain, and I treated him as such, casting him as the evil Onua in some of my childhood scenarios. Wairuha I never really built until, I guess, now, and it's a great combiner and looks super cool. I really am glad to have built these. They look wonderful. If you were a fan of my previous Brick Built Bionicle video and wanted to make some Toa, this is an incentive to do so. Not only does it add some extra build value, but it adds some extra play value as well. Also, a Kaita-sized special thanks to MSW41 for the mask builds, Sean Drews for the mask prints, and GreatEdmondo for the body builds. But make no mistake, if you've built all 6 Brick Built Toa and still want to build more, why not combine them? So which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Heck Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jesseheckcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching and keep being creative. Stay tuned.